What's up, guys? Dan the Man here. Video is going to be about the thermostat and housing replacement on a 2013 Chevy Sonic 1.8 liter engine. I've watched plenty of videos out there, and I ended up completing this job, and it was a real pain in the butt. So I'm going to give you guys pointers and show you the different things about where things are at for this job and what you're going to need for it. And then also in the description below, I'm going to attach the link for a video from a guy called the Practical Mechanic, who does a good job showing you this job in complete detail for the most part. I'm just going to fill in the gaps where other people have failed to show all the things that they need to show for this job to be completed properly and without any headaches. So first off, to get started, to tackle this job, the first thing you're going to have to do is get underneath the car and jack it up. Put the e-brake on, you don't want to take this plastic shroud off. Just one shroud, okay? And it's in the very front bottom of the vehicle. I'm going to go out to the vehicle here in a moment and show you where the petcock is located on the radiator, so you can drain the coolant out into a pan so this job's not so messy. And for the shroud, to remove the shroud, I took off these two bolts right here, and that was a 13 millimeter socket. Also, there was three T20 Torx head like screws that had to come out, and then there was one that was a regular Phillips head or a cross head, and that was all there was to this thing. And that kind of like just pulls out, and then putting it back in, it's pretty easy. There's an arrow on here that shows you where it goes in. It slides in underneath those little tabs right there, go up in there. And then on a side note, there's these little like clips on here. You don't want to lose those. Like, these things will come off. When you pull it off, make sure you don't lose these, because that's the part where the screw threads into to hold it on. So the two 13 millimeter bolts, there's one on this side, and I believe that there was one over here on this side, okay? And then, they could have been up here, who knows? It was a while ago that I took this off. Anyway, that's the least of your worries with this job, is getting that thing off. So, next step is you're going to want to get yourself a 15 millimeter wrench or socket, whatever you want to do to attack this part of it. The petcock is actually in a really easy place. It's not hard at all. And myself, I didn't even have to get underneath the vehicle to do it. I'll show you in a minute. I'm gonna suggest that you use a gear wrench for the fact that it ratchets, and it's got a plastic on the inside of here, so you're not gonna have less chance of damaging that plastic petcock valve. And that thing is it's pretty easy to turn out. You only crank it like maybe 3-4 times, and you can crank the rest of it out with your fingers. So you're also going to want to get yourself a little length of hose that will fit over the little outlet tube that comes out where the petcock valve is. So I'm going to get underneath the car here and show you where this is at. Turn on my light, and you can see that this is the front of the vehicle, right there. And this would be the passenger side to my left. Go straight down, and that tube is sticking out, that's where it's at. Okay, so this is right here. That's the left side of the shroud that was taken off. You get underneath here, I'll show you. It's a little harder to do because of the limiting space I have from the ground to the car. Maybe hard to kind of zoom in on this and show you, but right here is like part of the shroud where it connects to the chassis, and you're going to be fighting yourself if you try to use a socket and like a ratchet, because there's not like a limited room that you really have to move that ratchet back and forth. So what I did is I got the gear wrench, and let's see if I can move this light, because it's going to screw me over here. Let me try this. I get a better shot at it. Alright. So There we go. Right there is where it is. I'm sorry, like I said, I wish I can get it better for you guys, but it's basically right on the bottom left of where the radiator is, if you're facing the front of the vehicle. So if you come at, and that's it right here, right on the left side of where this hose is, okay, it's actually right there. That's it. Okay, so be careful when you're tightening this back up. Don't reef on it. You know, it's just plastic. It's going into plastic, so just snug. You know, it's all you need. It'll seal up. So, like I said, 15 millimeter socket or gear wrench would be the best. I turned it maybe 3 times. I was able to do the rest with my fingers. Okay, I would have a hose in here. You don't need much, just a little bit, just to let it control drain into wherever you want to drain it into. Okay. I have myself my handy dandy clothes bin there. So then after you do that, you want to hop up top here, and you will take off the surge cap, or the cap on your surge canister, and that will release the pressure, and it will drain faster. Okay. Now after this, there's like a lot more steps to this, and like I said, I'm going to put the link in the description for that other guy's video. You can go into this for detail on the rest of that. I'm going to fill in the gaps here for you guys though, where people have failed to show you how to do the next parts of this job, as far as this this connector on top for the heater inlet hose and connector, and that's the next part I'm going to show you here. Okay, back in the garage here. I'm going to do the very best I can to try and show you this. I don't have a mount or anything for my phone, so I'm going to use the side of this box. And I have it on a clamp on my workbench. So here's the deal. Okay, this part right here, okay, this heater inlet hose, this is a one-time deal. Like when you take this off, pretty much 95% chance that this is going to be screwed after you take this off. You're not going to be able to reuse this. I got mine off without breaking it the first time, and when I put it back on after I got done installing this unit, the car was heating up after I was filling it up and everything, and after about 3 minutes of the car running, this thing started peeing out, and there was a huge leak, and it was coming out of this thing right here. And I did not damage it while I was taking it apart. After further inspection of it, I figured out that, you know, around the inside of this, where it connects, there's a gasket inside of here, and that goes bad. And then as well as the gasket that you're going to want to also order, or not order actually, I got mine. It was a pack of generic gaskets from the auto store. It was a Dorman. Dorman was the brand. It was like just a bunch of random ones in a box. They're real cheap. I just found one of them that fit around the hole, around the tube, coming from the manifold, and it goes into right here. Okay, so all I did is I took that gasket and I just slipped it right around that tube, and I pushed it into this hole, and then I put my bolts in and I tightened it up. And then a side note for that, I think it's an E20 or something like that. That was the specialty tool you needed for this. You know, it's like a reverse Torx kind of deal. So I didn't have that tool. I was like, whatever, I'm going to see if I can find it around here to use. So what I ended up using was a 5/16 socket. And I have a 1/4 inch adapter to my 3/8 inch ratchet. So basically it just goes from, you know, this size, 3/8, and then this is a 1/4. It goes to a 1/4. That way you can fit that mini socket on there, you know. And what it is, it's not just any 5/16, okay? It's a 6-point, and that's why it works. So it has to have 6 points on the inside of here, not like 32 or 16 or whatever it is. It's got to have 6 points, a 5/16. Okay. And I had no issues using this at all. It worked great. The only thing you have to pay attention to that you do is that you're pushing, is that when you're loosening them or tightening them, unloosening, or after you finally tighten it, there is a little bit of play on here, you know, like that. But as far as left and right's concerned, I mean, there's like almost no play. It's perfect. But up and down, it's easy to slip if you're not careful. I mean, myself, I didn't have any issues at all. This thing worked great. So you're just going to want to push in, as you're loosening or tightening it. But I mean, this thing, it was great for me. I mean, if you have an E20, or more power to you. I'm poor, so I can't go out and buy every little thing I need for these jobs. Just try to get by with what I can do. So, all right, next I'm going to show you how to get this thing off. Every video I've watched out there, they're like, it's all Chevy Cruze, Chevy Cruze. There's nothing about Sonic's really about this job. I mean, yeah, the cars are similar, made by the same manufacturer, blah, blah. In my opinion, for this part of the job, it does differ. The Cruze is not the same as this when it comes to this part. There's a similar, but not like this one. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. You can get yourself a couple different types of tools to do this job. Me, myself, the way I did it was I used this for the first time I did it. And then now looking at it again, I probably wouldn't have used this. The reason that this does come in handy, though, is because there's a limited amount of room when you have this part, in the car, obviously, installed. There's not a lot of room to get in there to work on it, so it was easy to get up underneath there, but this thing, it kind of just pry out on these tabs. These other videos were saying, oh, you want to pinch this together and then wiggle it and pull it out. No, don't do that. That's not what you want to do. Okay, if you look at this, I'm going to try to zoom in here a little bit. I don't even know if it's going to help or not, but there's two little tabs on there. Okay, that didn't help at all. Sorry about that. So there's two little tabs on here. Now you got one tab here. Right? I'm going to turn this so you can see the other one. Here you go, and you got one tab right here. See that? And what it does is those things clamp around this little nipple right here. Okay? And on the inside of this, there's like a little coupling, and there's an O-ring in there. And that O-ring goes bad. And even if the O-ring doesn't get bad, you can still break this trying to get it off. So what I did to do this is I put it on one side, right here, with this micro tool. I use this for fixing my computers and stuff like that. You can get them in a set. Harbor Freight, really cheap. This is the smallest one, one of the smallest ones they have in there. So a flat blade. Okay, it's like a micro flat blade. And all I did was, I just got it in on one side of it. I slide it in between the tab and the housing of that little part there. Okay, and I pry this way. Okay, like this. And as I do that, I'm kind of gently, be very careful. This is a brittle part, very delicate. They're easy to break. Okay, so just barely get it up on the edge of that, okay? And once you get it up that far, okay, stop right there and then put a finger or anything, kind of hold it so it stays right there. Okay, don't be pulling up on this, just hold it right there. And you go over to this other side, okay? Do the same thing, but as you're prying away from it on this side, you're not going to want to lift up, you're going to want to lift over this way, working this thing over towards that side instead of lifting up, because you're fighting yourself then. So just pry over like that, just to get it, see, like that. It comes right out. But like I said, you want to just be careful, because this thing, I'm going to tell you right now, I did not break mine getting it out. I still had to replace it. And I called around to the auto shops. They said it was going to be like, I don't know, 2 days till they could have it in. They're quoting it to be $36. Around $36 for that part. And that is right here. This is information for this part. It is the GM 251-92905. So my dad actually ended up finding it at some auto shop. I don't know where he found it, but he showed up with it. He's like, here you go, here's the part you need. I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, where'd you get that? I'm like, I thought you had to order it. So, I don't know, it's kind of cool that he was able to grab it that day, because I really needed to get this done, and I thought I was going to be stuck for a while, sitting there without a car. And they did warn me in one of the videos I watched. They were saying, yeah, be careful, because, you're probably going to have to replace this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, well, I'm pretty confident that I can get this off and I'm not going to wreck it, which I didn't. But now I'm going to show you what mine looked like. My vehicle's got 140,000 or so miles on it. Just bear with me here for 1 second. I'm trying to set this up so you guys will be able to see it on both sides. There we go. Okay. So you can see the quality of what this part looks like when you get it taken apart. I mean, look at how nasty that looks. It's ridiculous. And so that's the, that's the connector, and then this is the inside, what I was talking about with that O-ring. Okay. And I'm going to pop that O-ring out so you can look at it, because I didn't even do that yet. But basically, if it wants to come out, there it is. Alright. So there's the O-ring. And I remember, like I was saying, I did not, damage or ever taking it out. So, I mean, that thing looks like garbage. It's just, I'm sorry my camera's not great, but you can just see how it's just ripped apart. So I'm thinking what it is actually is this is a one-time deal. And the way that cars are nowadays, they make them so they want you to take them into the shop or into the dealership to have this kind of stuff done. So I was trying to see if there was some sort of another way that I could do this. And really it sucks because there isn't. I think there is a new part that you can get that's not like this. I forget what brand it was, but it was a little more expensive. I found it online, and I don't even know if it's compatible or not. I just saw it when I was browsing. But anyway, there's like a little sleeve that comes out of here, and I'm thinking that this is the culprit right here. So I mean, look at how nasty that is. So that's the part that actually clicks into there. That's the when you have the new one, when you get it, you're gonna have this little part on here, So it's crazy. So let's see if I can pull this out quick. Yep, there we go. Oh shoot, I dropped it. Oh. Okay, so there it is. This is the end of it. This is like the little grommet that goes into there. I mean, look at that thing. It looks like garbage. It's all cracked and everything. On the top there, you see that? I mean, look at that thing. So you can tell as soon as you take that thing off of there, it's basically going to tear itself apart. So make sure you order this before you start this job, or you're going to be stuck there without a car, thinking you're going to get this done in a day or something. And this is a frustrating job. I'm going to tell you right now, with those hose clamps, you're going to want to, on the, for the hoses, you're going to want to get yourself one of those extension clamp removers or whatever. If you don't have one of those, I suggest when you do this, work those hose clamps off with one of your hands and the pliers. Don't just take the pliers and try to move the clamps off by themselves, because you're going to be fighting yourself for a long time trying to get those off of there. So what you want to do is, I know this sounds stupid, like people are like, oh, I don't want to take a hose clamp off. Just wait, you'll see. It's frustrating because of where they are and they're located. So I'm going to go to the car quick. I'm going to pause this. I'll be right back. Alright. So, after you get this, your new part, and even if you don't break it, it does work. I mean, the chances of that actually happening, I think are going to be pretty slim to none. But whatever, it's, do what you want to do with that information. So in the installation of this, the reinstallation, you're going to have obviously this end. So to route it, you're going to want to look at the other one where it's located. So right back here is where it is. Okay, I don't know if you can see that. And it sits on this little clip back here. That's one of the clips. And it comes up here. I actually took all this stuff apart. I took all the connectors off and everything. There's a little plate right here, just like the front up here. There's a 10 millimeter bolt that holds that little plate in. I just did that just so I could get the head of this, through there without damaging it. I suppose you probably don't have to take this thing apart to get it in there like that, but I just did. So the end of this is obviously, when your new one is not going to look like this. I mean, your new one is going to have a full boot with like a 90 degree on it. So it's a real pain in the butt. What I would suggest doing is take that rubber boot off first before you try and route this thing. Okay? So you just take the boot off, and then you'd be left with this hose like this. Okay? A lot easier to route it through all this garbage in there. So you're basically going to start working it through here. Okay? Turn it. And then you're gonna have to you're gonna have to fight with it, snake it in there. Just be careful, like I said, because they are kind of easy to break. So what I would do is leave the old one in. Don't take the old one out until you have the new one installed, because that way you can kind of use the old one as a guide, as you're getting this thing in there. And then when you get it down to about here, okay, you're gonna have to come, you have to snake it back underneath here, in between this little circle thing, right around there's like a bracket. You got to get back behind there like that. Okay. And then I'm sorry, I know it's hard to see. I'm sorry. Okay, so it's right here. And then once you get it back up in there, see where it's going down? Where this is, because it's the new one I have in there. You want to have this piece when it's actually going down through that part. You want to have it like a slide like this, you know, going down. And it's going to be a real tight fit. But you'll eventually get it where it's coming down. And where it ends up coming out is right here. Okay? So before you even get this far, my suggestion to you guys is to take the airbox off. And that's really easy to do, but mine has broken clips on it because I guess someone hit a deer with this car. So I ended up JB welding mine back together. But what it is there's 2 rubber gaskets in there that the plastic housing fits into. So I'd like to show you this. There is, you know, you see them right there probably. I don't know if you can. There's one here, and there's one here, and there's another one in the back side here. That is right down in here. I don't know if you can see it because let me get a light on it for you. Damn. There we go. So, the airbox, you know, if you go right down from there, it's this little light would just stay still. There we go. It's right there. And that's just part of the airbox. It's the very back right corner if you were standing in front of the vehicle. Okay. So what I did is, you probably don't have to do it this way, but I didn't want to take this clip off. This is for the sensor for this mass airflow sensor or whatever's on the other end of this. This is your. So what I did is I just took the 5/16 that I used to take off the other nuts or whatever for the thermostat. It was the same 5/16 that fit on here. I loosened that up. I turned this. Okay. I took that off, and then I ended up doing. What was it, a T15? I know it's probably not the right one, but it's the only one I had. And it was a little loose, but it still got these off. There's one there. And then there was one on the bottom. Just be careful with these, don't lose them. This is the thing that holds the sensor in, you know, for your mass airflow sensor. Or whatever the heck this thing is, but it's like a little computer or whatever, basically, like a little chip basically. You pull it out, just make sure it doesn't get dirty or anything. That's, you know, be careful with it. So this thing will pull out. I just set mine up here. You know, and then at that point in time, you're free to grab this thing and kind of pull up on it. And then over here on this side, you want to pull over and then back up again. And then the whole airbox will come right out, and you'll be free to work on this part right here. So, on a side note, this rubber thing down here, the boot, the one that you're going to be replacing, that comes with your part that you ordered, the one that you're going to be taking off, this one right here, it was glued on. So I had to end up taking a razor and scoring it many times and cutting it, and then I put a pair of pliers on there, took everything I had to get that thing off of there. It was glued on, and I just scrape it off, all the excess, and then the new one went right on, and I just clamped it. You know, the hose clamp went over. So yeah, you have to take the hose clamp off the old one and put it on your new part to have it connect there. So you don't have to take this whole thing off right here. Okay, this hose up here, you don't have to take this off. Okay, just this part, just the airbox, and you should be able to get right to that, and that will just slide right over that little hole once you pull the old one off. Okay, so that's that's how that works. I know it's kind of a long video here. I didn't want to make this video that long, but man, it's like I've watched these videos and nobody was showing anything about how to do this stuff. You know, they would kind of show you the process of it, but they wouldn't it wouldn't show you exactly how to do stuff. Like, I'm going to turn my phone off now and do this, and then we'll be right back, and then we'll go on to the next part. It's like, well, dude, I need to know how the hell you did that. So, alright, yeah, this is the numbers for what I got here once again. This was for the thermostat and housing. That's a GM OEM number for that thermostat and housing. And then this was for the inlet and quick connect. That was the 25192905. And then, yeah, as far as the rest of this job is concerned, it really wasn't all that hard for the rest of it. I did want to touch back up on that O-ring. On this part down here, it is very important. If you are doing the full housing replacement, I mean, if you're just doing the thermostat, those 4 bolts right here, I mean, you're going to want to get an extension, like a small extension. You're going to need that. The hardest bolt to get out was the bottom right one, but it's still not even that hard. But as far as these two are concerned, getting that one manifold tubing that comes out, that O-ring on there that was supposed to be on mine was gone. It was like fried. It was just like remnants of it left on there. So you're going to want to probably pick yourself up a pack of O-rings, or if nothing else, of a bottle of Permatex, the red stuff, the high heat. And it's like a make your own gasket type of a deal. You know, so I don't know, after the job was done and after I replaced that one line and the whole thermostat and housing, everything was fine. It runs great now. I mean, so I really hope that this video helps you guys out there. Like I said, I'm going to include the link in the description for the guy that shows you the rest of how to do this in full detail. He did a pretty good job. But I just want to fill in the gaps in some of this stuff here. Good luck, you guys, and see you again next time.